Hi, Katie Beecher, Medical Intuitive, and I am answering all of the questions that you guys asked me on Instagram and Facebook. Thank you for sending me such great questions. They're really awesome. I'm not going to go in any particular order, and anybody watching this can actually benefit from any of these questions. So the first one, I have an addictive personality. How can I use that to better myself? Well, my first thought is it's great that you have an awareness of yourself, and addiction is about avoiding feelings and thoughts. So I think that it's important to recognize why you tend to have an addictive personality, and are there any feelings and thoughts that you're trying to get away from? Is there anything that you need to be focusing on that you are not? And then conversely, what are the things that you tend to get addicted to? Are those things that you're interested in? Maybe you need to be paying more attention to your interests and listening to what's important to you, because maybe the things that you're gravitating to are things that you don't spend enough time on and need to give yourself permission to do for yourself and have more fun with. Maybe you're just not having enough fun in your life and you're too serious and you're needing that addiction to relax. So that's the quick answer that I got from my guides for that one. Next is, hi Katie, I've been experiencing nerve twitches all over my body for about 6 months. Any insight about what's causing this and how to stop them? That's a pretty personal medical issue that I would normally deal with in a reading. There could be so many reasons for this issue, and the first thing that comes to my mind from my guides is a food intolerance, even something that you're being exposed to, such as a mold or something like that. And the other thing that's coming up is stress, your adrenals not being in balance. So I would find some sort of integrated practitioner, something like that, to look into that with, or have a reading. Okay. And you've inspired me to follow my intuition about my hypothyroidism and treat the root cause rather than the symptom. Any advice on finding a good naturopathic doc in San Diego? Other than Google. Unfortunately, I don't know of anybody in San Diego. I do have some resources in LA, and you're welcome to DM me if you want some more information about that. Next is, it's inspiring to follow you. Thank you. I really appreciate that. I try on my own, but if you could advise some things for energy and renewal. The first thing that comes to mind for my guides is make sure that you're getting enough rest. Often we don't get enough sleep. We're not able to do things for stress relief. Movement, it's really important to get movement, and if we're tired, it sets up a pattern of not wanting to move and not having enough energy to exercise in some way. And then we also think that by exercise we have to run a marathon or go to the gym and lift weights and do something really strenuous, and we don't. It's really important just to get up and move, take a walk, do something, because that stress gets built up in us in an energetic way, so we need to release that energy. And by moving, we actually create more energy. So what I'm hearing for you is to try to do some sort of meditative activity. Doesn't necessarily, again, have to be formal meditation. And if you can combine that with some movement, that is what I'm hearing for you. So next, okay, perhaps somebody wants to know, why can't I hear or feel my own guides? I've been trying for years. I get this a lot, and most of the time what happens is that people just, they're thinking too much about it and they're trying too hard. We get signals all of the time from our guides, from our intuition, and we think it has to be, a lightning strike or some sort of huge thing. And it's just little, when I sit down to talk to my guides, or I write to my guides, I have a writing exercise that I do. It's just, sometimes it's just a word, or I see a color, or I see a picture in my head, and you just go with that. You go with the first thing that comes to mind. It's not going to be, no being is going to come down and tell you exactly what to do in your life. You get hints and you get information, and then you have to figure out what to do with that, because we have choices. So our intuition isn't a substitute for us, and it doesn't want to get in our way, but it wants to work with us. So just let things flow. Don't be so judgmental. Don't worry about, is this really my intuition or not? I'm making this up. Just let things happen. It's there. And what can I do to connect to my higher self and guides? So I have a writing exercise that I love, where I write to my intuition, and I just sit and wait and listen for what it has to say, and then I write that down, write back to it, back and forth. I'm making it very simplistic, but I've been doing that since I was 16, and it's saved my life. And it's a Carl Jung Jungian technique, but doing it in writing amps it up, rather than just trying to do it in my head, where there's 8 million thoughts going through at any one time. So that's one thing. Being in nature. Being in nature is a great one. Just sitting in a bathtub, putting some Epsom salts in there to help you ground. Just taking a walk, doing something alone, just trying to quiet your mind as much as possible and listen, and getting out of your own way. Just don't second guess yourself. Meditation, guided meditations are great. A lot of us have trouble meditating because we think we have to quiet our minds all the way. Sometimes when I meditate, I just literally sit in quiet and ask, what do you guys have to tell me? So I ask for the thoughts to come in, instead of trying to quiet this busy head up here, which doesn't always work. So, okay. Next, besides lavender, melatonin, jujube, magnesium, passion flower, what's the best approach for having a full 8 hours of sleep and not waking up between 3 a.m. and 4:30? Well, you really need to get down to the root cause of what's going on with your sleep. You mentioned hormones and anxiety. Hormones are such a big issue. This person happens to be female. I don't know how old you are, but hormones are a huge issue. And menopause definitely interferes with sleep, but also postpartum things. Even, a year and a half, 2 years later, our hormones can still be regulating. And medication. Medication can interfere. Also, supplements can sometimes have insomnia effects, so really investigate your supplements. Blood sugar. If your blood sugar is too low before you go to bed, you will have trouble sleeping. So that's a big one. People are doing intermittent fasting, which has benefits, but it can also interfere with sleep. Adrenals. If your adrenals are not supported and you're going, you're going to have trouble sleeping. So, and the waking up at, the 3 a.m. thing is a classic adrenal symptom. So really work with someone on supplementing your adrenals. And 10 milligrams of melatonin might actually be too much, and sometimes it has a rebound effect. So using less melatonin. Also get more exercise. If we are exercising, we're going to be more tired and sleep better. So those are just some suggestions. Sleep has not always been my friend, so I get it. How can we spread positivity and shield all the negativity around us? Great question, because a lot of us feel like we are helpless and there's just this negativity and this energy, and that we can't defend ourselves. The first thing to remember is that you are in control of your energy. You are the only one in control of your energy. And you can say no. So if there's people around you that you don't like, that don't feel good, you can extricate yourself from that. You can say, I don't want to be around you. Use your voice. Use your body. Get out of the situation. If you're at a party or a gathering or whatever, the energy doesn't feel good, even if you can't leave at that point, go to the bathroom. get some time to yourself. It really is about remembering that you have the power and you have that energy, and take time for yourself, get into nature. Remember that you are not helpless, and try surrounding yourself with people who feel the same way you do, who share your thoughts. Really, it may mean changing your circle of friends or even your family, but we need to make those choices to take care of ourselves. And anxiety from our environment and anxiety from negativity is really exhausting. It's really exhausting, so it's important to take care of ourselves. But cool question. Okay, so next. All right, I've been studying Reiki and Dana Eden Energy and Medicine. Through these courses and my own empathy, I've become more finely attuned to people's energy and can feel their problems. I'd like to see more in my third eye, for example, colors of their auric field. How can I work on that more? What would you suggest I do read? Thank you. What's coming to mind from my guides is to do some art therapy, and I don't mean that you have to be an artist. They're saying to go into a little bit of a meditation, get some simple art materials out, and ask your guides to help you create some visual images that will help you get used to seeing color. Just go with it. Don't worry about, no one's going to see it. Don't worry about the end result. Just have fun with it. Whatever comes out, comes out. And then if symbols appear, pictures appear, whatever, you can look those up. You can Google those and, what is the meaning of an elephant or a triangle or whatever, and then get more into that. And that will help you to get deeper into your unconscious, into your psyche, communicate more deeply with your guides. But they're saying to try that. Try some fun, non-judgmental art therapy activities for yourself. And you guys have such really great questions. Okay. I feel if my hair is thinning and becoming less vibrant. What should I be doing to preserve the health and thickness of my hair? So often that's hormones, and there's nothing wrong with talking to somebody about bioidentical hormones. I really believe in quality of life issues, and we need to feel good. So that's often hormones. Often diet related. Make sure you are getting enough fat in your diet. There's nothing wrong with fat. We need it. Stress, our old friend stress. Anxiety, getting enough sleep. Hair vitamins work. A really good supplement I like is called Diatomaceous Earth. I had to take a medication 15 years ago or something and lost some hair and helped get it back with Diatomaceous Earth. So all of those things really help. Try those things. Make sure that also reduce your toxins. So do some gentle liver toxin detoxing. There's things like Liver Life by BioRay, which is a nice, gentle but effective homeopathic remedy. Maybe doing some dry brushing, some lymphatic massage, things like that. Okay, I'd like to learn how to release hurt from the past. Well, that's a process, and it can be really, really helpful to work with someone on that, because we often think we need permission to do it. We don't, but it's often really helpful to have support with that. It really depends on your level of trauma too, what's happened to you. And do mindfulness activities, mindfulness meditation. Jon Kabat-Zinn has some great mindfulness meditation online. There, depending on, again, what trauma has happened to you, there's a book called The Body Keeps the Score that is really fantastic, especially if there's been any physical trauma, because that energy and those feelings get stored in the body, and that makes them extra hard to get rid of. So the quickie answer to that is that, but I work with a lot of people on that and have had to deal with that myself. Okay. Oops, I'm sorry. Few more. All right. My question's kind of mundane, but maybe of great interest to people. I know you've been working on a book, having seen some early versions, which I feel will be very useful to people. How's it going? Great question. I have finally finished my proposal, round 3, and my agent now has it and will be sending it out to publishers. So I am really hopeful that that it will get picked up. And my book is about the work that I do, a little bit of my backstory, and helping people to use these techniques that I've been using for 30 years as a medical intuitive and licensed Jungian therapist to help themselves at home, to help connect to their intuition, to help heal mind, body, and soul, to help identify the issues that they're having, because it's really overwhelming to try and figure it out, to help sort through what is helpful, to help look at our bodies as individual rather than trying to figure out protocols, because protocols don't work very well. We are not one-size-fits-all beings. And heal from trauma, all that stuff. But I'm really excited about it, and hopefully I'll have some updates for you soon. So, and will you please talk about thinking with your heart over thinking with your brain? Maybe the pros and consequences. I think we need to do both. I think it's really important. When I say thinking with your heart, to me, that's using your intuition. And I think it's really important to use your intuition and to use your brain, because there's times when we need to absolutely use logic and numbers and make business decisions. But I also don't do anything without my intuition also. And it's important that we're well-rounded people and that we can do all of it. So it doesn't have to be an either or. We just do what feels right to you. There's all these questions about, are we doing the right thing? Well, what the hell does that even mean? Do what feels good to you. Whatever works for you. Enlist help. There's so much judgment, and that needs to stop. Okay, and back to, all right, almost done. You did a medical reading for my daughter a few years ago, and you were phenomenal. Thank you. I would like to know what personal practices I can do to enhance intuition. Okay, I've talked about that some. I'm a very active 62-year-old and embrace the concept of working on how to get past being egocentric. So, not totally exactly what you're sure, but it's very easy. I guess the first thing that I'm hearing is some anxiety, and anxiety can make us center our lives around ourselves and be afraid of being vulnerable. Vulnerability is when we let other people in and when we open up. So that's kind of what I'm hearing for you. And as far as enhancing your intuition, I'm hearing to listen as far as being more vulnerable and feeling more safe and allowing the universe to come into your life more. Listening more for that. Finding some like-minded people that you feel more safe with. Maybe the people in your life or the people that you've associated with you haven't felt like you could share or be your true self with. So maybe you're hanging around with some wrong people, and they've made you feel like you've had to be protective of yourself and had to focus more on yourself. So that's what I'm hearing for you. When you are dealing with Lyme, or when you were dealing with Lyme, I don't have it anymore, how did you manage to stay positive on your bad days? I have days where I feel like my mind is just not strong enough and I slide down into despair. Do you have a quick tip for pulling yourself up quickly when you're falling? So I did have Lyme. I had every co-infection and Lyme. And it can be scary. And I didn't have it as badly as a lot of people did. I work with a lot of people who are bedridden from it, and and that's pretty awful. But one of the things I did that was really helpful was I refused to be a patient. I refused to think about being sick. I refused to use the word Lyme. I refused to say my with any of my symptoms. I worked really hard on getting better, and I looked at, I actually talked to my illness. I talked to my symptoms and said, what are you here for? What do I need to do? And one of the things that I think is really important is not waiting to live. So I hear a lot like, I can't do this. I can't do this until, I can't do this because. Well, what can you do? Can you take steps toward going back to school or figuring out what it is you want to do for your job, or what can you do right now? Because if we feel like we're waiting to live, what is the point? There's no motivation to get better. But if you can distract yourself with things that make you happy, and instead of feeling like a victim, and I'm not saying this person feels like a victim because she's not saying that at all, but it's so easy to feel like that and feel like, why is this happening to me? This sucks. I want my old life back. And often illness happens because our old lives were not working and because we weren't listening. And it's getting past that and figuring out what we need to do differently that helps us heal. So figure out what you can do and what you want to do, and what would make your life better and how you want to live when you are well, and take steps to be able to do that. So, okay. So last thing, general recommendations for inflammation: exercise, diet, anti-inflammatory diet, low sugar, low or none. Eliminate dairy, gluten, the usuals. So curcumin is a great one, great supplement. Omega-3s are a great supplement. There's some other good ones. Acupuncture is awesome. Reiki. There's a lot of really good healing modalities out there that are excellent. Meditation is really important. It works. You change your body and your mind through meditation, through changing your thoughts and your feelings. And this person specifically mentions lungs. So lungs are about breathing. Oftentimes when people have breathing issues, they feel like they literally can't breathe, like they can't be themselves, they can't be vulnerable, they can't open up. So do some Louise Hay work. Think about, where in my life do I feel crushed? Do I feel like I literally can't breathe? And who do I need to get away from? What do I need to get away from so that I can feel safe enough to breathe? What am I trying to hold on to? Usually that's about needing too much control in your life and needing to let go. And then I've been having some stomach issues. Any idea what that could be? That is one for a reading. That could be about a million different things. Often, though, people who are empathic have stomach issues. That is our vulnerable part of our body. And but often, it's food intolerances and good things like that. So there's a bunch of things that can be done. And then last one is gluten or dairy free for me. Well, my question is, why are you asking that? Because if you are wondering, you don't need a medical intuitive to tell you that. You can figure that out for yourself by, number one, eliminating one. See how you feel. Do some intuitive eating. See how you feel. If you feel better without it, then don't have it. And then do the same with dairy. Just see how you feel. My guides could look into that for you, but you can do that yourself as well. I'm assuming there's a reason. But if you're looking to eat more anti-inflammatorily, or you think one of those is an issue, just eliminate them and see how you feel. Sorry, wasn't a great answer, but it's a simple one. So thank you so much, and I will do this again. And I really appreciate it, and I appreciate all of your support.